that's why I love the office, because I get to play the game every day. If I'm a work from home and I've got a generation who works from home, I don't know how to play the game. I'm not in it.
You know, they're a bit weak in some areas and we think that we're going to take that challenge on. It gives us a good indication where we really need to hone in.
Your self-belief in yourself is too low and I need you to have a crack at this.
The leadership team, Tom and myself, and we said, okay, terrific, here are your values, that's great. Now don't tell anybody about it.
Starting point, I think as difficult as the conversation it is for you, just think about how it lands for them. Think about what about where they're at.
You know, what I say to people a lot is I say you can be on the right track. If you sit down, the train will run you over.
It comes back to the behaviours that you want, and the behaviours are influenced heavily by the values that you have.
You know, they're the master of their own domain. I'll just take what they say and try and form some good company decisions.
And it's a recipe for success. And some of the poorer decisions I've made around people have been not taking into account what do they actually need.
Welcome to Slicing Through the Noise, a leader's story. The podcast that uncovers real stories behind impactful leadership. Join us as we explore how leaders cut through the chaos, master powerful listening, and build cultures of accountability and vision. Whether you're a seasonal executive or an emerging leader, this is your space to learn, grow, and lead with integrity. Let's slice through the noise together. Welcome to Slicing Through the Noise. This is leaders' stories about their journey to becoming CEOs and top executives. So whether you are an aspiring leader or a current executive or CEO, this is the place where you could learn something more about what it takes and listen to the stories of people who've been there and done that. So welcome, let's go and slice through the noise and the chaos of leading. My guest today is Paul Noppen, the CEO and founder of Noppen Air. He has got some amazing stories about what it took, where he's come from, and what he did in his journey to growing a business that's really successful. What I love about the people that I am interviewing is their stories are about ordinary people who went and did something that they never thought they would have done. So, from being on the tools as an air conditioning expert and then deciding, I think I'll just do my own thing. And the journey along the way to growing a really successful air conditioning service business and installation. Paul's going to fill us in on some of the details, and I want to hear more about them. What did it take? Who is he now? Who was he as a 20-year-old who decided, I think I'll just do this? So, welcome, Paul.
Thanks, Jennifer.
So, you know, I was reading about some of the things that you've done, right? You've finished school and then you've kind of gone like this all over the place. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I left home at about 14, so I was quite young. But I still put myself through an apprenticeship and became a tradesman and worked for quite a part of my early life for different people and learnt different skills from them. And I never thought about having a business and that. However, I did subcontract from the minute I started being a tradesman. And we just evolved from there in different companies, speaking to different people in those companies. And eventually I thought I better start something for myself.
I thought I better.
Yeah.
You know, you've probably heard that from other business people where they go, I think I'll just do my own thing.
Well, I watched what some of the other service companies were doing and they were enlisting me to do it anyway. So I thought, well, I can do it for myself and manage it better than they were actually managing it. So we started and that. But we also... I was lucky enough to be subcontracting to a large company who was called Email Air back then, and they had a service division in Riverwood, and one day it was great there. I enjoyed it because we were making good coin, and it was easy.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden their CEO came in and said, "You're all finished, gone. We're shutting the service division." And I thought, oh, great. So then they had some clients. So none of the other guys thought of it, but I put a bid in for it. I said, I'll put a bid in to take those clients over. That way email didn't look bad. They had someone still servicing it. And that's where we started as a sole trader with 4 of the techs that were there. They came along with me, and we started growing it from there. We got in a little factory on our own, you know. But the original start was me in a car with a set of tools. And when we took over the email contract, sometimes my wife will tell you there'd be 300 calls in a day or two. And I'd be working on the roof with my book, ordering parts, writing down people's service calls, fixing something, welding something, you know, all that sort of stuff. Was pretty hectic. And
It's pretty intense.
It is. And back then, there's no one to do the after hours, only you. So pretty near 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, you're got an umbilical cord into doing something for someone.
Yes.
So that was one of the hardest things to get around, and that's where I learnt from that side of it that life balance is one of the most important things, and we'll get to that later because I've been able to develop that side of me really well.
Yeah.
But there's the beginnings of it.
Yeah. You know what, let's just go back to, you know, that moment when you're on the roof, you're installing, you're servicing a unit, and here you are. Did you carry one of those big bricks around?
I did originally. It was a Nokia something. Well, when I first started, they didn't actually have the brick to go on the roof.
Yeah.
That came about a year later. They had the one that was in car.
Yes.
It was a Uniden or something. So I would use that, but I'd get a page. So I'd get a page, I'd get down off the roof, you know, and then I'd ring them, and then I'd write it down.
I remember those pager days.
Yeah. There was a lot of those pages
I was going through some old boxes recently, a few years ago, and I ditched some of that old stuff.
Yeah.
Right, and I went, why am I keeping this silly thing?
I know. There's a lot of people in our trade and a lot of the service trades that those pages ended out in the drink or something.
Yes.
At some stage, you know, especially through the summer periods where it was really hot and flat out in the air conditioning trade, and people were asking you to do a service call at X amount. I didn't throw mine in because I owned it.
Yes.
But earlier,
so
sorry to some of the companies, but we did just go.
It's like it's stinking hot.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go out there. So how did you actually manage those kind of things when people, you know, I get it. Like in Australia, it can run at 35 to 40 degrees for weeks on end.
Yeah.
And
it's relentless.
in Sydney, the humidity can absolutely kill you.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to come and sit in a little place like this where we feel all nice and comfortable. But somebody's got to get up there on the roof and fix the air conditioning.
So, first of all, you had to learn to prioritise. So we did a mix of domestic and commercial. So the commercial clients were actually service clients.
Right.
Domestic would just ring up, can you come and fix it? So naturally they had to wait.
Yeah.
Your service clients couldn't wait. So you had to differentiate that straight away. And then you had to prioritise, you know, we're sitting in a studio here, right? So this is pretty paramount. You'd have to get that going. You can't really work while we're sweating.
Yes.
Whereas someone, you know, just in an office, they might be able to wait. So they don't want to wait, but you've got to look at that side and run a balance with it. Or while you're on top of a roof welding a pipe.
Yes.
And writing in your book. And ordering parts.
Parts.
It was a godsend when someone said, here's a brick telephone you could go and you could get up on the roof instead of running down.
You know.
That was huge technology.
Massive.
Because as a boy growing up, my parents didn't, they didn't evolve that well with technology. They were a lot older than me. They were from Holland. They'd been through labour camps and all that sort of stuff. So everyone around our area had a television. We didn't have one.
Yep.
Everyone had a telephone. We didn't have one. I had to go out, going back to the I had to go out to ring my girlfriend up. I'd have to go out, walk a kilometre, find the red telephone booth, put my 2 cents in and ring her.
Yes.
And then if she wasn't there, it was a waste of time. I'd have to walk home again. So by the time I got this brick thing and I was on the roof, I was like, this is,
King Kong
look at
now.
me, you know.
Look at me, I've got a brick. So, all of those stories, and now today we're saying put the telephone down, go and put your mobile somewhere else. Let's talk about, what it takes to actually take on an apprenticeship. And the dearth that's in society right now of people unwilling to look, like somehow I think education has hijacked the trades and we're desperate.
It has, and we're now in a predicament that Australia, for one, is so short of tradespeople. I know that for us to hire someone, it can take years to find someone good. And it always seemed to be over the last 20, 30 years, the academics were looked upon as the only way to go. So when you'd be around talking to people, of your peers, they'd be going, oh, such and such is going off to be a lawyer, basically a professional liar. Such and such is on their way going to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Again, someone embodying enslavement on you by stealing money for the tax department. Sorry, I'm only joking. But and they were looked upon as being the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Yet when you look at actual cultures around the world, who contributes to those? You'll find it's the builder that can build a house for you. Yeah. The plumber can fix your plumbing. Electrician can make this happen. An air conditioning person can keep us cool, whatever. But now we've become in such, because of the big stigma about let's get into the academic side, we've now got a lack of good tradespeople.
Yeah.
And that's now starting to turn around. So all my 3 kids, 2 of them are tradesmen. My daughter's just started to be an electrician. So, and I see benefits in their growth. I see how they've become, because they learn to communicate with different types of people rather than just in an office environment. I see that their communication skills are developing at such a great rate. Whereas I look at some of the other kids that I know, because I've coached a few footy sides and all that, I look how they're communicating, the ones in the office, and it's one paradigm through. They're a little bit socially inept in some ways.
One of the other things that, if you think about what it's taken, first of all, you're a guy who's...
I hope so. In this woke culture, you never know, do you? I hope I'm a guy.
Well, I think you are.
I've got 3 children, but...
They didn't come from you.
A few of them don't look like me.
Oh, dear. You're a horror.
You've got a good-looking milkman. Yeah, go on. I'm only kidding you.
Nasty piece. I'm going to give you what for. So let's talk about, like that decision to go down that road. And as a 14-year-old going from, I'm on the tools, I work for different companies, I then, decide I'm going to start my own business. Let's talk about some of the toughest things that you went through. It's like you start with a nice base. You got some clients. What else does it take to actually do it?
Money.
Yeah.
Money and cash flow.
Yeah.
Are some of the biggest ones.
Talk about cash flow.
So if you've got to pay 4 people, we were small at that stage. Originally it was just me. It wasn't too bad, but as I said, I moved out of home at 14 years old, so I always had to look after me.
Yeah.
So you still got to look after that. You've still got to look after materials and suppliers and all of that sort of stuff, and you get people that are not so nice and they hold your payment up over the most stupid things. So cash flow was probably the key in the whole lot. If you haven't got that, the business is gone.
So you may resonate with this. One of my mentors from many years ago used to say to me, Jennifer, I bow at the altar of cash flow.
Absolutely.
I have a little thing over there in the corner of my office. I don't think he really did. And he said, I bow to it and I pray to it every day.
Yep.
And I think when you're in small business and then going up through the ranks of growing that business, cash flow is king.
Yeah, cash is king. It's
Cash
the
is
old saying.
king.
And there's another thing in there as well, that there's a lot of people that talk of turnover.
Yeah.
Turnover's great,
Yes.
but if there's no profit in it, it's rubbish.
We do.
So,
yes.
My old business partner used to say to me, I've turned over X amount of dollars.
Yes.
What have you done?
Oh,
And,
bully for you.
Yeah. But then when we actually had a look in it, he had turned that over, but he'd lost money in the process.
Yes.
So we had turned over less and we'd made,
More.
the minute you make $1, you've made more, So,
And literally that scenario, it's like people are enamoured with what their turnover is.
yeah.
And I'm always enamoured with net profit.
That's right. Net profit is, at the end of the day, what's the result you want to get for your business? Net profit.
Well, net profit is what you take and do something else with.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
That's right.
You don't have net profit?
Yep.
Well, bully for you.
That gives you a balance of life.
So, actually, I just had a thought. Like turnover is ego.
It is. It is.
Net profit, security.
Just check their hands. If they got small hands and small man syndrome, they probably like turnover.
You're so bad. I forgot how naughty
Well,
you
it seemed
are.
to be that fact,
So, if you think about some of your early experiences, hey, like the people taking on a business partner, what shaped how you run the business?
What shaped it?
Yeah, what shaped you and how you actually do it?
Well, in our business, there were two nearly polar opposite sides. One was an installation side,
Yeah.
and one was a service side. So the service side is something you've got to react straight away on, and the installation side is something that you quote and then install and make some money on. So they had to be totally different. What shaped Noppen Air as it is, it was service-based.
Yes.
So we couldn't concentrate more on the install. We had to shape, because the service side is the value in your business. We get a client that we might have. So I've got some clients I've had for 30 years. That's value in your business. So you've got a shape and direction to that. Once you've installed an air conditioner for someone, that becomes either a liability, because you've got to fix it if it breaks down or something. So we shaped and moved our business more into the service model. So the service model air conditioning business last, whereas the installation-based air conditioning businesses, a lot of them fail.
Yeah.
And you're reliant more on the economic climate, and as that drops down, what's the first things to drop down? The buildings of things.
Yeah.
The service, you still got to service it.
Yeah.
So we
Keep it going.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really, if you're talking to young leaders today or any CEO, someone new in business, that's a good distinction that you've just talked about there. Are you conscious of where if cash is king?
Yeah, that's right.
Where's the cash flow going to come from? And I'm hearing that you got very early on in the piece what that took.
Yeah, and there's another piece in there that people sort of forget. I suppose it's the ego, but on the realistic side, little fish are sweet. It's an old saying. I would prefer to do, $10,000 jobs as opposed to one $100,000 job, or even 200 little, $500 jobs, as opposed to the other way. You've got to remember, you expose yourself. So, and we found that out in business. We did some large jobs for people, millions of dollars jobs for people, and some builders foreclosed. That's one job. Didn't make as much profit as the hundreds of other little ones we did, and we weren't exposed so much. You lose one of them, so what? You lost a few grand. You lose $1 million job,
That's painful.
Yep. And plus, the profits in those are also less too.
So your ego is driving the $1 million job.
Yeah. We want to go, oh, look what we've done. We're so great, but we're broke.
Yeah.
So
that whole ego versus sanity and security, being able to, like, how do you set up a business so that if you do want to do an occasional $1 million job, be very clear about what you're doing and what high risk it is, and you better put some. So setting up the business the way you has made a huge difference.
It did, but we also we got into financial difficulties numerous times because of that side.
Right.
So luckily enough, we had the service side there to bail that out, and we kept bailing that out until a certain, which I'll tell you later on, until that certain point went.
Yeah.
But that was always a worry.
It's hard, that, isn't it? It's like you're constant, as a business owner and leader, if you own the business, you will dip your hand in your pocket many times to bail the business out.
Oh, yeah. I remember during that, I think it was 2007 or something, that GFC, I think.
You know, the recession we had to have and all that stuff.
That's right. And we're not a massive business like all these others. But for me back then, to pull $200,000 out of our mortgage to keep the company afloat, when my business partner didn't pull anything out of his, and it was his side that sunk it, just to keep it going, to keep everyone there through that little period. If I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have kept going. You know,
it's interesting. It's like that recurring story of one of the things that in the time that I've spent with you, Paul, is you're incredibly loyal to your people, and you were incredibly loyal to your business partner.
Probably too loyal. I learned some home truths about that. So
it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, very. Yeah. Well, he was my best man as well.
Yes, he's the best man at your wedding,
and he was my business partner. Yeah. And he did something horrible later on, in that we found that he'd been embezzling we only looked into 7 years, and we got up to around $2 million. So that was quite a bit to take out, and quite a slap in the face, because I defended him. I'm like that. If you're a friend, I'll defend you till the hilt. And
I can remember our conversations a couple of times. I went, what the heck?
I would still defend him.
Yes, and you defended him.
And look,
and I said, there's something not right here.
No, you did, and you're 100% right. And I think growing from that, learning to trust my gut instinct is a huge lesson I've learnt over a period. And also learning that not everyone is honest is another thing.
It's tough. You know, it's like, you know, that inkling, that moment when, and I bet you it was probably a decade and a half ago that you knew, and then
denial.
We go into denial and we dismiss our thinking.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like nothing mitigates the experience that we have, and then trusting our instincts that says there's something not right here.
Yeah. So your gut is I suppose your second brain.
Yeah.
It probably should be called your first brain. Like your subconscious. Yeah. Your subconscious can run everything in your body without you even thinking about it. So you've got to trust in some of that, and then you get the I suppose the distracted brain that says no, we'll change that. No, he didn't really do that.
Yeah.
You know he did it.
Yep. Well, I was convinced that something was funny.
Well, a forensic accountant fixed that situation.
Yes.
And we did know that he did it. And a forensic IT, I was amazed how far they can go into things. We got right into emails he'd sent, been doing different things with different clients, all that sort of stuff, you know. And then we had to get I eventually got a security company in. So I was lucky that he actually hurt his knee and couldn't come into work. So I got the forensic auditor to come in, and we went through everything.
Yes.
And he said, you got a big problem. And so when he came back in next, we got a security company in, and they just removed him. So everything was done by the book, unbiased, not by me. And then we ended out with a civil case and a criminal case, because people got a difference. They're two different ones. So the lawyers, they were the biggest rapists of the lot.
Yes.
In that I was not allowed to speak to him. He was not allowed to speak to me. And the bills just kept going up and up and up. We were in hundreds of thousands of dollars with this bullshit going on. So I ended up ringing him at one stage and saying, I won't say his name, we need to meet somewhere. I did meet with him, and I could tell his demeanour, he was terrified.
Yeah.
And I ended up putting my arm around him and I said, such and such, for whatever it is, I forgive you. We came in here as friends. I said, we may not leave as that, but I forgive you. Now let's...
What did it take to come to that point? Because I think every leader has been betrayed in some way. Yours is massive, but that betrayal when you're in leadership is huge. I've experienced it myself. And can you let go and forgive? Because if you don't, what happens if you don't forgive?
So I think with a lot of people, as you know, I also studied Reiki and bioresonance because I'm into the health side. I really enjoy that side of things. So holding on to bad energy is really no good for you.
Yeah.
And I could feel it over that year of bullshit between, when I say bullshit, the bullshit these lawyers wrote between each other was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so that actually helped me. I thought, you know what, I can't deal with it. This is rubbish. But I didn't feel good throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And every time I approached or thought about that subject and him and the lawyers and that, I had that sick feeling in your gut. And if you're waking up to that every day, you're going to be a product of that and you're going to be sick. So I thought, you know what, I'm a pretty forgiving person anyway, you know, so I forgave him, all that. I saw his shoulders just, it was like a little boy, it just melted and that, you know. And then we brokered a deal and moved on from there. I still paid him out, not the full amount, but I still paid him out, and on he went. And we didn't have to bother about that, you know.
So there's a wonderful thing that I'm hearing from you here is in the moment that you did that, you have clean hands.
I have clean hands and I've got clarity.
Yeah.
His karma or whatever he has is between him and whoever. Not me. So I've moved that. I've moved that bad energy away from me. I've moved the bad energy away from my business. And look, I don't wish him any harm either. No. At the end of the day, there was some issues he must have had. I knew him from...
You were kids, teenagers?
No,
together.
Teenagers. So he came to me as a second-year apprentice when I was working for a mob, and we were close, and he was a different guy. He was a fun guy, happy-go-lucky. We had a lot of good fun times and that. And then he turned out a totally different human being. So, look, there must be, as you did, maybe some analysis on him, and you did say to me, there's, and you probably know a bit more than you've told me, but I don't need to know, and I don't wish him any harm. Move on and do your thing.
The thing is like, when we lead, at some point, harbouring any kind of disregard, animosity towards someone sucks your energy.
Yeah, and it manifests what you focus on. So if you're focusing your energy on negative rubbish, hatred, all that stuff, that's what you'll get.
Yeah.
So,
and I can remember a few years ago we went through a little bit of an upset in our own business, and I was just beside myself. And I remember Jay, who you know, saying to me, my son, saying to me, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I thought about it.
It's a good point.
And it's like, and he said, forgive, don't forget.
Yeah.
Forgive, don't forget.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is really important when you're leading.
It is.
Look, shit happens. Now what? And, you know, that whole thing about do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Forgive, do not forget. The 2 Fs, forgive, don't forget.
And there's another F as well at the end of it.
It's all fun.
And it's got off at the end of it.
And while I'm finishing forgiving you, you can F off.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like,
look, I think in a lot of things, forgiveness is one of the it's one of the hardest things for people to do, but it's one of the most liberating. Even in your normal life, forget the business and all that stuff. People come and they do shitty things to you, but you don't know why. You know, if there's one thing I've learned a little bit about is actually seeing things from their side.
Yes.
Once you see something from someone else's side and you're not boxed off and go, okay, I get it. Didn't have to do it, but I get it.
You know that whole conversation that we've had of the difference between sympathy and empathy? So sympathy is I jump in the grave with you and we pull the dirt down on top of ourselves.
Yep.
Empathy is I understand
Yep.
and no.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you can understand some of what went down with anybody inside of your business and whether you accept it and go, okay, I heard you, I get it, and no.
Yep.
Yeah?
And also, on the other side, you can also say, I forgive you.
Yes.
And now let's move forward. Let's put that rubbish behind us. Let's move forward. I
And
did
there's
that
people-
with this guy.
Yeah.
But-
you move forward.
Well, I don't know where. Well, I've been in contact with him a few times,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's moving forward or backwards, and that's not my gig anyway.
Yeah.
But with people in our place, look, we're very lucky. I've got good staff. You've met them.
Oh, you've got some people that have been with you so
30
long.
more years, something like
Yeah.
that. So I remember I sat with in a mob. It was called Tech 55 from
Yes.
memory. Are you aware of them?
Yes, I was a member of them.
Yeah, me
And-
too.
no.
And one of the things with Tech 55, we had guys in there that had been, you know, the CEOs of Atlas Copco and, you know, billion-dollar companies and all that. And here's little me with a little $12 million turnover that just scraped in.
Yeah.
And that, and I'd listen to them talk and that, and I learned a lot from it. It was great. I learned a lot about branding.
Yes.
Branding was a real big thing that I thought, you don't need that.
Yeah.
I did learn a lot there. But when it came down to employees and their retention,
Yes.
and they went around and they asked people, you know, what sort of percentage do you turn over your employees and that, and most of them were about 10%.
Yeah.
And I looked, I said, I couldn't do that. And,
Yes.
and they said, oh, you've got to run it, and I was getting mentored by them, you've got to run at 10%. And I don't think these people understand that, you know, I've got, say, 35 employees. If I get rid of 3.5 to 4 employees, sometimes it took me years to get them.
Yes.
And I do it every year. I said, I'll have nobody that's got any value
Yes.
anywhere. So
You
when
know,
I try to
that whole
explain it
thing,
to them,
like I have a saying with people about, do they understand what it costs when someone walks out your door?
they
how
don't
much-
care because they're huge. Sorry,
Yeah,
I shouldn't
yeah.
cut it. They're huge CEOs. So these people here have never built a company from the back of their car and
Yeah.
a spanner. They've come out of university, they've got economics degrees, and they've walked straight into company, climbed a bit of a ladder, and now they acquire companies. I'll acquire your company for growth. I'll acquire that. We'll use shareholder money. They haven't used their own dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Started from walking on the ground to do that. Most of them.
Yes.
And you can tell the ones that have
Yep.
because they've got a different perspective
Attitude.
on it.
So speak more about that attitude of what it actually takes, because it is hard. I've grown 2 companies, as you know,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, it's like even this one, we've been doing it 36 years. It's tough.
It is.
It's tough. People pay lip service to what we do. You didn't. You put your hand in your pocket and said, Jennifer, let's do this thing.
Yeah, well, I also, so I learnt a long time ago from my mother.
Yeah.
And she was constantly learning, and she
Yes.
was always the one that said you can do anything that you want.
Yeah.
You know, so I learnt from that, and I learnt that education is a massive key. And then with our employees, we didn't even have vision or values before I
Yes.
met you, so thanks for that. Our company had no values.
Yes.
You know, we're just moping along doing what we do. And then okay, so I still remember one of the things in our boardroom, well, it wasn't in the other room, and we had all of our 35 staff, not many, wandering around, and we had hundreds of names all on the ground, and we're picking them up. What about this? What about this? So the values for my company actually came from our own staff
Yes.
and employees walking around, picking it up, talking it over, and sometimes sitting back. We sat back a little bit and watched them do it.
Yeah.
You know, and we eventually came up with, you know, integrity, commitment, unity, and fun.
Yeah.
And those things there, involving my staff in that, made them buy into the whole thing. And I hear them now and then when people are being,
A-holes?
off. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, not always that, but just I've heard them say, are you aligned? Are you aligned, or is that below the line? Have you got our values? Just joking, just stirring you up. But then they go, oh, yeah, okay, maybe I wasn't 100% committed. Maybe integrity, you are your word. Maybe I told them I was going to do that and I didn't. So
it's a real tool for you.
It is a massive tool, and I've used it. I've coached a few rugby league sides, and in 1 year I coached 3 rugby league sides, an 11s, a 13s and a 17s. And some of the 17s guys, I told them about those values, and the exact same ones, and because they were just starting to get out on a drink. And I said, look, if your life isn't going where it should be, or things are out of control and not working out, I said, have a look at that. Is there integrity? Were you your word? Commitment? Once 100% committed, doesn't matter the result. You've given it your best go.
Yes.
Unity, were you stronger in that team, or were you doing it for you?
Yeah.
And fun. I've seen them later, years later, and they said, Paul, we thought you were crackers. we thought you were a nutcase. We loved how you coached and the technical side, but we thought when you did the value stuff,
a bit woo-woo there.
Yeah. But they've also said we've also found that when we did run off the rails, we had a look, and sometimes all of them were missing. Usually the fun part is the first to go.
Yes.
And I don't know why that's the last one of our values, because I think it should be well and truly up the top.
When it's not fun, why are we doing it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the purpose of all of this?
It is. So I've been lucky enough to create a work environment where you saw them, our people enjoy coming to work.
Yeah.
It's a fun place. Sometimes they tell me to get out because I like too much fun. And that's where I've got to realise, okay, well, I'm sort of disrupting the team a bit, so the unity's not really there. But I've been
told that a few times.
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't you go over there in your office and do secret CEO business?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, go over there and let us do our work, but all with a good, a good bit of fun as well. But there needs to be that in a business. If there isn't, imagine coming to work every day where it's you're nearly dragging your knuckles on the ground to go there. Like that's horrible.
Do you know that old, you've probably read this because I know how much you listen and listen to books and things like that, most people are living quite, lives of desperation.
They are.
And they don't intervene on themselves. So when you think about leading a group of people, when you give them a set of values and a vision to live by, you're actually intervening on their system and allows them to lift. And it makes a huge difference.
Not just in your business. So our guys, our guys and girls, we got some guys in there that said the integrity and values stuff and vision and values we did with you guys changed their life.
Wow.
And then
that makes me want to cry.
No, it is. It's very good. And on the other side of it, for me, although that wasn't me implementing it or running the course, it actually makes you do feel a bit, because you think, I had a great part in changing your life for the better.
Yeah. That's what leadership's about. It's about growing people.
Yeah.
And
not just your business.
No. Well, the business, you grow the people, they will grow the business for you.
That's right.
You look after the people, they will do the thing for the business. And that's the most amazing thing.
It is.
So, okay, if you looked over the many years you've now been in business, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't have taken a business partner on.
Okay, we got that one.
Probably that.
It's a single
underestimating your own abilities is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I always thought, I need such and such to do this, such and such to do that. I didn't realise I could do it all myself. When I said do it all, I could arrange it all, get it all done, direction it myself. I didn't need someone.
Yeah. It's funny that it's like that moment when we get, I'm actually okay and I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you think you're most proud of?
I'm most proud in business.
Yes.
I'm most proud of being able to have had a goal and reached the goal. And my goal ages ago, even before I did the vision and values and all that sort of stuff, was to be able to build a business where people enjoyed coming to work.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah.
And it's profitable
Yes.
as well. So for me, I'm most
more
proud.
can you want?
I'm most proud of having a family.
Yes.
If anything, that's
a
families.
wife and 3 kids.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an accomplishment.
Yeah, and 2 bull terriers.
And 2 bull terriers.
They're the ones with the big snouts.
Yeah, the big snouts. So, I mean, what I love is that throughout our conversations over the years is you've had hobbies and passions that were outside of work. Could you say more about that for leaders, about why that's an important part of maintaining that balance in life?
Yeah, so I suppose being a kid at heart is one of the things. So if you just put 24/7 into the business, something will crash.
Yes.
And I found that out at an early part where that's all we were doing.
Yeah.
So having hobbies and being able to detach yourself from the business is, for longevity, has got to be the best thing for you.
Yep.
So you can't sustain full bore all the time. And I find having hobbies, I ride dirt bikes, I still water ski, heaps of other active crap that I love, and I'll do it any day I can.
Yeah.
And I like that. It's a passion. When I do that, you're never, ever even thinking about the business.
Yes.
And you're even with a whole different group of people as well, which is good.
Which is kind of amazing. It's like I often will say to executives that I'm working with, so your piece of advice to them would be find a hobby. Find something that you're passionate about outside of, because I know that we've talked about your hobbies and your passions and things like that, like coaching footy.
Yep, I still do it.
Yeah, and like being a contribution to your community.
Yeah,
those kind of things keep you alive.
Well, actually, yes, contributing to the community, but also just a hobby that you like.
Yes.
You'll eventually, because at some stage you're going to give up work.
Yes.
What are you going to do when that happens? I have nothing. I'll just die. So you've got to have things that you enjoy. And most people do, but most people don't spend time on them.
Yes.
You know?
I remember some years ago working with a young executive. Well, he wasn't that young probably. Well, anyway, he was young probably compared to me. And I said to him, what's your hobbies? And he had some. He hadn't touched it in years. Yeah. And one of his hobbies was building model aeroplanes.
Beautiful.
And I said, so I think it'd been like 6 years since he'd gone into his basement or spare room or whatever and pulled that out. And I gave it to him as a piece of homework, and then he built this gorgeous aeroplane and he sent me a photo of it.
Yeah.
And he just said, I'm loving it.
And it's not just the hands-on that you've built it, but it's the creative side.
Yes.
So you've opened that other side of the brain up, as opposed to just the numbers, figures, all that. You've opened this other creative side up that's been screaming inside your head for years. Come on, let's go play. You've opened it up again.
And you bring that juice back to the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, as you know, I knit. And I've always got something on my needles.
You do.
I always have something on my needles.
That's where cutting through to the noise is the hardest.
Yes.
Because we're distracted so easily by things, So, as you know, I've started quite a few businesses that either didn't go well or went broke.
Yes.
For want of a better word, I don't know. Well, we'll leave that there. But that was distractions, and that is, I know the podcast here is cutting through the noise. Yeah. My hardest part about cutting through the noise was getting the distractions out of my head. So I still have them. Yes. Every day I'm driving around thinking, I could do this, I could do that, I could build that, I could do that. But what I now do, I trust my gut. Yeah. First of all, I stay grounded.
Stick to the knitting.
Yeah. And I also now, you lose your ego. Everyone has a bit of ego. People say, I have no ego, they're full of shit. Most people have some degree of ego.
You need it for health.
You do.
You actually need it.
That's right. So I've been able to lower the ego, listen to my gut more, stay grounded, but I also I'm not too proud to sound off my crazy ideas with
Other people.
Yeah. And a lot of times they go, stick to what you're doing. Yeah. And that's a good leveler for me.
Yeah.
To do that.
I think we need people around us that actually level us.
Yep.
And I have friends that are levelers. I have my 5 children that are levelers for me. You know, they'll just go, what are you dreaming up now, Mum?
Well, but yeah, luckily enough, you've passed that on to them. I reckon they'd all be pretty creative.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well.
Yeah.
And I've encouraged that with them.
Yeah.
Like, go and find the thing that you're passionate about
and do it.
And go and do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll get paid to do what you're passionate about.
Yeah, and you can't beat that.
No. Nothing surpasses your passion for wanting to make a difference in whatever area you're in.
Yeah.
Whatever
my passion
area.
wasn't air conditioning.
No.
And because I was more into the motorbikes and surfing and all that sort of stuff. But I've always had an engineering thing. I liked how things ticked. I'm creative. I can weld and make stuff up and all that stuff. We used to race speedway cars. I used to weld up all my own roll cages and cheat with the motors and all that sort of stuff. I had a good friend helping me with that. So we were always creative making things. So that made the HVAC or heating, ventilation and air conditioning trade interesting to me.
Because it's 3 different things.
Yeah. And there's so many, it's so diverse, from a little air conditioner here to a huge chiller or a huge chiller plant like we have in the UTS over here that's 24,000 kilowatt, I think, and that sends cooling water out to everywhere, you know, to that size and everything in between. So I'm interested by that. That's why I'm not stale in it.
Yeah. And that's why you maintain that wonderful energy for it. Like, there's something here, and can we make it better? Can we tweak it? Can we do this?
That was a problem being a CEO.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't stay in my lane as well. I'd be in my lane trying to do that, and I'm not a good CEO because I can't stay in the lane. I'll hear about a project, someone's tuning that over there, and I go, might nick out today, and I'd be gone.
Darren's good at keeping you in the lane.
Darren is actually a very good general manager and probably the CEO because he can do that.
Yes.
I can't. If I know that you're tuning something down the road there and there's a little, I'll nick down and I'll do it. I won't actually take it up, but I want to.
You want to tinker.
I want to see how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So in closing, right, what's one piece of advice you'd give any CEO, aspiring leader or executive today?
If there's only one, I would say always remember that first year apprentice or junior may well be the CEO that employs your grandchildren.
Treat them well.
Well, treat them, always be clear, treat them, be humble.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that for some reason, a lot of people I know that are CEOs seem to look down on people. You got to remember that at the end of the day, we're all the same. So
I love
be humble,
your thing where
clear.
you say, be clear, be honest.
Yeah, well, that's it. Be clear and be honest with them. And never forget where you came from. The minute you forget that you're that young kid running around on his bike, having fun, and you become too removed from that, you've lost yourself.
To keep close to you.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Slicing through the noise is all about talking to people like Paul Noppen, who've experienced it, had the chaos in his head. And we are really grateful that he spent time with us today. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please press that subscribe button and share this episode with people who you believe would get something out of it. Well, that wraps up today's episode. If you enjoyed our conversation and want to keep the momentum going, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss the latest insights and stories from extraordinary leaders. We appreciate you tuning in and can't wait to share more with you soon. Thanks for listening.